Hello everyone and welcome to Game 2 in a series between Nerchio and Goody here on Shattered Temple. Nerchio spawning as the pink Zerg player on the bottom left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Goody spawning on the top, or it's not even the bottom left-hand side. It's more like the 6 o'clock and 1 o'clock positions. This is going to confuse me as the name templates. Goody is essentially going to be taking control of the left half of the map, even though his name's on the right. Nerchio is going to be taking control of the right half of the map, even though his name is on the left, just because Nerchio spawns slightly to the left of Goody. Now, taking a look at the strategies and what will be going down in this matchup, Game 1 on Antigua Shipyard really pretty much unfolded how I expected it to unfold. The Hellion harassment nearly wasn't effective enough. Goody did not see that early expansion, and because he didn't get a strong enough drone kill, Nerchio was just able to muster up a large enough and very advanced force that Goody wasn't able to fight back. We'll see if Goody learned anything this time around, as Goody is going for an 11 racks, so it is going to be an 11 barracks here on Shattered Temple, as he now continues to mine and now training up more SCVs. So not quite sure what to make of a slightly faster barracks. Perhaps it's nothing, perhaps it's everything, as we now see drones on their way out in order to do a bit of scouting. And we are also going into a refinery. So Goody opting to go for a 13 refinery, as a drone will be able to scout him out in just a moment. Meanwhile, Nerchio going for a very easy to take 15 hatchery down over here. 15 hatchery down over here. Now, drone getting in some easy damage onto the SCV. SCV, however, scooting away, able to hide in that location there. A Marine will be trained, as the SCV is going to be doing a bit of scouting, and now perhaps upgrading to an orbital command in just a moment. There you go. We should be getting a Marine out in just a moment. The drone realizes that it has to get out of here, as now this SCV doing a bit of scouting as well. SCV is pretty much going to see nothing over here, as his opponent did not spawn at the 9 o'clock, or sorry, the 3 o'clock location. I'm getting all of my things confused and mixed up, as a drone now going to pass by the center Zonaga tower here, and we'll see what exactly is going to be in store for this particular game. You can now see what one SCV going to pass by, simply spots the drone, the two drones, as two drones are going to be able to shoo away this one SCV here, but the Marine now offering a little bit of support, should be able to deal a bit of damage, and now a Spine Crawler could be coming in just a moment. SCV looking to get some damage there. One drone may get taken down, as the SCVs and the Marines now going to be taking a bit of damage. This is not good at all. The Marine already down to 30 hit points, and then there it goes. The Marine, if it did get taken down after all of that chasing, Nerchio would have actually lost even more minerals than trying to take down that one Marine, as the Marine only cost 50 minerals. Meanwhile, the drones, the mining time, and the walk to and from his opponent's base would have simply been too much. We can see two Marines now have been trained. A third Marine will be added as well. And I can't imagine a reactor Hellion start now, as it will be significantly delayed. Most likely, it will be a play into a starport. Or perhaps, no, it is going to be some Hellions. So there are going to be a fair amount of Marines on the ramp. Now going after one Zergling. Zergling was an easy target there. Down it goes, as now what is going to happen here? SCV going to try to establish a command center down here, as both players are just deciding to macro up even further. Hellion now being trained. More Marines being trained as well. SCVs are going to be trained out. Pretty much a longer game is in store, as no one really wants to engage just quite yet. Both sides with relatively small armies, as unable to two-shot the Zergling there. You need Blue Flame Hellion in order to two-shot a Zergling. So we'll see what exactly Nerchio is going to do. Nerchio is still sitting on a fair amount of, or sitting on 2 bases right now. He is sitting on 30 drones compared to 24 SCVs, as we are now going into a roach war, and Nerchio isn't really trying to tech in the tier 2 all too quickly. Two Hellions going to try to test the front door, but a Spine Crawler going to be more than enough to cause problems here, as a Spine Crawler is pretty much going to limit the movement across all of this, as the Zerglings are now going to be able to get in a surround, finish off one Hellion. No, the one Hellion was able to escape, the second Hellion able to escape as well. And nicely played by Goody. That was more of a misstep or a miscue by Nerchio, as Nerchio could have easily taken down the Hellion if it did not move away and try to attack the other Hellion. 2 Hellions at half life as opposed to 1 dead Hellion and 1 Hellion at full life. Zerglings now looking to take down the rocks over here at the 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock position. What was the island expansion on Lost Temple. Meanwhile, siege tanks are being added as well. We'll see what exactly Goody's strategy will be in the long run. A siege tank. Yeah. Siege tank still sitting here. We can see the 1 hatchery back over here as well. We are going to get some spawn larvae as well, as Nerchio is going to be holding, as what Nerchio just going to try to use these queens to pretty much defend. And this game pretty much going exactly how I expected it to go so far, as Nerchio is just going to be able to expand over here to the bottom right hand side and get an even stronger economic lead. Goody really not able to catch up and really not able to apply pressure as a Terran needs to do right now. 2 siege tank, he's going to be able to defend, he's going to be able to siege up and try to force his opponent to attack him, but I think Nerchio is just too smart of a player for that, as we are now sitting on 46 drones compared to 35 SCVs. Roaches are now making their way out to engage, but this is going to be a very bad engagement for those Roaches. The Roaches now just going to get torched by those Hellions as they try to retreat. Army composition, both sides about even, as the Hellions getting in some easy damage as well. There's the scanner sweep. Down go a couple of these creep tumors, and now the siege tanks perhaps will start sieging up. And will it be enough, or will Goody or Nerchio just be able to get in a round of units? Roaches, queens, and now siege tanks getting in position. There you can see that the spine crawler now coming in. What, Zerglings now trying to come in as well. Both sides trying to cover each other. Goody does have a fair amount of Marines. Queens are now trying to engage still. Roaches are still trying to engage, but Nerchio is taking a lot of damage. He has finished off all of those siege tanks, but now I think Goody really came out ahead in that one fight. Did he come out ahead? Army composition, Nerchio still at 83 compared to Goody's 65. 51 drones compared to 40, so I believe Goody has a slightly larger army, but that is it at this stage, as Goody now is going to be forced to defend. Zerg able to move so quickly across the field, especially with the help of creep tumors, as now Nerchio establishes his 4th base by clearing out these rocks. His 3rd base is already up, as Goody is now, just now, trying to establish his second expansion. Evolution Chamber getting the level 1 armor upgrades. It looks as though the Hellions are now trying to run in and get destroyed by Roaches, and Goody's just constantly in the wrong place at the wrong time. Thors are going to be in the near future, as it looks like we do not see any engineering base for level 1 weapons upgrades for infantry, so it looks like Goody going to try to continue to go for mass mech. Looking that way, as we are now going into a reactor factory, training up siege tanks, getting in some Hellions as well, and we'll see how this is going to work. Currently, there is an armory in play, level 1, or sorry, the Infernal Pre-Igniter being researched. I'm assuming level 1 weapons upgrade will be added momentarily, as well as there is an Overlord spewing creep on the top right, and now Roaches able to push back all of these Hellions once more. So Nerchio, now going in the pathogen glands, should be able to limit the high mobility factor of those Hellions, and those Hellions are going to be even less useful, as there's really not that many Zerglings and mainly more Roaches at this stage in the game. The 4th hatchery about to be completed. It looks like a macro hatch is also coming into play as well by Nerchio. Nerchio wanting to make sure that he has a very strong production army, as the siege tanks are just blasting away at the rocks, but in comes the Roaches, and are we gonna, yes, gonna be able to get off one very easy kill there, as another round of attack there, and now taking down these rocks at the gold mineral patch. 3 or 4 easy siege tanks taking down those rocks with little to no effort. Blue Flame Tech now nearing completion, needing about another 10 seconds. These Hellions are not going to be able to really do much. It is going to be 4 bases versus 3 in just a moment, as the SCVs are now getting in position to set up some refineries. We'll see whether or not, not quite sure why we didn't get some orbital commands off over here, as the SCVs are now making their way forward. Hellions once again running away for their lives from some Roaches. The Roaches are upgraded 0-1, as more infestors are being added, and we are now going into hive tech with a spire, which means that we may have surprise broodlords once more. Hatchery still being built off over here, so Nerchio really macroing it up. Gonna have a very strong macro, it's a macro army, really be able to replenish that army in just a moment's notice. 20 drone advantage, 78 compared to 58. 2 Thors are being added, and now level weapons upgrade, ship or vehicle upgrades finally being started. But this is 14 minutes into this game, and this may not be good for Goody. Hatchery about to be, about 40% completed so far. This hatchery more than 40% completed, will be finished in just a moment's notice. Hellions, Thors, Marines, and Siege Tanks once again are going to try to push out here. There are a lot of Infestors, those as the Siege Tanks need to siege up. Are they going to siege? Yes, they are going to siege up just in time, and now able to push back all of those Infestors once more. Infestors have to be very, very careful at this time. Infestors only take 2 shots in order to get killed by those Siege Tanks, as long as there are level 1 weapons upgrade. And in comes the Roaches now. Infested Terrans also spawning as well. Infestors just going to be able to just decimate and destroy this entire army here. And there you go. Roaches are just continuing to push. It looks like Goody may be able to hold this, but there are still a fair amount of Roaches. More Thors coming in. It looks like Zerglings still swarming in, bringing in the rear. And Goody gonna lose another Thor as more blue flame tech Hellions coming in just in a nick of time. But this is still not looking good at all, as the infested Terrans are now starting to spawn. And Goody going to lose a lot of the ground that he worked so hard to try to establish and gain control of. Roaches are now just swarming into the natural expansion. No fungal growth possible. As you see in one infested Terran, Siege Tanks now will be making their way back in, destroy all of these Roaches and the Infestors. The Infestor most likely, yeah, the easier target in that group. And now it looks like another Roach is going to get taken down, as Zerglings now swarming as well. SCVs, many of them are low on hit points. Zerglings going to come in from the rear, finish off the last of the Siege Tanks. Only 1 Siege Tank left before Goody can return to mining here at his gold mineral patch. Greater Spire about to be completed. We already have some Corruptors in the air, 7 Corruptors in the air, 6 more soon to join them, as we have a fair amount of gas for Nerchio to train up plenty of Broodlords. Greater Spire, as I mentioned, about 8 seconds away from being completed, as we are now moving around with these Hellions. Hellions looking to get some drone kills. We'll be able to get 4 or 5 drone kills there. There's another drone kill. Really lucking out so far. Oh, 1 drone down to 1 hit point, as there are, even with weapons upgrade, not quite enough to finish it off, as that drone was able to regenerate some hit points there. Goody still sitting at 122 to compare to 165. Is it going to be enough is the key question. 3 bases now compared to 5 or 6 bases, as the main base is pretty much now only on a skeleton crew, and we are now going into double spires. So 1 spire for the armor upgrades, 1 spire for the weapons upgrade, and then one of them is a greater spire in order to get those Broodlords. So we now currently have 5 Broodlords in the air. There's 6. We may be getting 7, maybe even 8 as well, as we now see more and more Broodlords in production. Nerchio wants to push out in just a moment. Those Broodlings will be upgraded 1-1, which may spell a problem for Goody. Goody still playing a little bit too defensively right now. A lot of Marines, Siege Tanks, Thors, Hellions. I'm all off of a lot of factories so far, so Goody has really been favoring this mech style of play against Zerg, as he's currently sitting at a 4,500 mineral army, but unbeknownst to him, Nerchio is sitting on a total of an army of over 10,000 right now, 10,008, about 4,000 resources higher than his opponent. I think it's just going to be a matter of time before Nerchio finally moves out and engages. You can see evolution chambers are all being built, and this is in order to free up some food, and most likely these will all get canceled. There you go. And now at 210 over 200, after 5 more Broodlords are in production. So 5 additional Broodlords in production now, as the Broodlords are going to be making their way out and trying to clear up some of these Siege Tanks and Thors. Now we are sitting on a dozen Broodlords. Level 1 weapons upgrade, claw attack upgrade has been completed as well. Those broodlings will be rather difficult to kill, especially with only 3 Vikings there to counter them. Is it going to be enough as the Broodlords now going to start raining in and getting in some very easy damage? Viking needs to perhaps engage. 1 siege tank goes down, more siege tanks. Vikings now finally battling out. Infestors trying to focus down. And both sides just fighting it out. You can see that some of the Broodlords are getting focused down there. There goes another one. I believe another one's going to go down in just a moment, as the Corruptors are now going after the Vikings, as the Thors are having a bit of trouble trying to fend off this attack. And Nerchio just waited until the perfect time to attack, knowing when his opponent was the weakest. And now with only siege tanks left, I think Goody will have to say GG, as he is losing a lot of resources trying to keep these units alive on the ground. Broodlords and now Zerglings once again swarming in. The Thors do not have any significant armor upgrades. Gonna get taken down by those Zerglings. Gonna get finished. Gonna be able to finish off all of these siege tanks here. And there is the GG. Goody losing the second game in the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.